How's it going, YouTube? Sharky. It's been a while. Uh, Coming back though. Um, 2025, in short, was without a doubt the worst year of my life. Um, and I kind of wanted to make this video to kind of talk about that and kind of talk about everything that happened because I feel like if I talk about it, it'll make going into 2026 and like having a more positive outlook on life like way easier. Yeah, this video is gonna be probably kind of long because there's a lot of bullshit that happened in 2025, and I'm also kind of sick, so my voice sounds like shit, but it's fine. Um, I'm not really sure where to begin. Uh, there's a lot. It's a lot, and it's not gonna be easy to talk about either. So, for those of you who know, I came back from Japan in December of 2024, so right at the ass end of December. So I literally came back from Japan like December 3rd or some shit. Immediately went home to Mississippi to see my family because I hadn't seen them in a year and a half. New Year's I came back to Virginia and started life here back stateside after being overseas for 2 years because the military, and that's what I do for work. It felt really weird coming back to the U.S. after being in a country like Japan for as long as I was. Japan, but the culture there is so much better. It's so peaceful. People aren't rude. People, will do anything for you and will do anything to help you if you're a foreigner, especially if you're American. They absolutely love us out there. People are so respectful. Things are cheaper. It's safer. Just quality of life in Japan was so much better than it is here. And honestly, I really wish that I hadn't come back. I wish I would have stayed in Japan because Japan was an absolute dream for me. It really was. I'd always wanted to go to Japan, and I got to go to Japan. I got to go to Nagasaki. I got to go to Hiroshima. I got to go to Kyoto. I got to go to Tokyo. I got to go to Osaka. I got to do everything. I bought a car out there. I had an S14, and it was just the greatest, year and a half, 2 years that I've ever had in my entire life. January 2025, right off the bat, um, I was killing things. I was on top of my life. I was making, I was saving money, getting ready to buy a new car because I had left my S14 in Japan. Was trying to find an apartment because I was now able to move out in town because the military is weird about stuff like that. Now I was able to move out in town, so I was looking for an apartment. I was single. I didn't really do anything out in Japan because there was no point because I knew I was going to leave at some point, and I didn't want to bring anybody over and make anybody leave their family. So I had stayed single, and I stayed single for a good time. And honestly, I was happiest when I was single. I'm going to be honest. That time frame from like January to March was so relaxing, and it was so just easy, and I didn't have to worry about anything. It made my life so much easier. Yeah, January, I killed things at work. I was doing great. My career was finally back on track after being in a spiraling downfall from some of the mental health issues that I was having in Japan due to the work schedule. February was pretty much the same. I was still on top of my stuff at work, just doing, everything. Still single. I didn't really go anywhere. Maybe a car show or two in February, but I didn't really do anything except play Call of Duty. At this point, I was, actually doing good in Call of Duty and actually improving and potentially had a, chance to maybe make something of it. But then came March. March is when things kind of started to go wrong. Not really. So, for those of you who are my close friends or family or just friends in general who knew, I met a girl. I had been pursuing this girl for roughly 2 months at this point, and she finally agreed, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to entertain it. Let's go see a movie. We go see a movie. Things went great. Um, we started dating. We started seeing each other almost daily. I started meeting more and more of her family, her parents, her grandparents, some of her friends, kind of not really. I thought at the time that that's what I wanted, and I was happy. Uh, you know, come April, nothing was really different. Still seeing her, things were smooth sailing. We weren't really fighting. Um, we weren't fighting at all, actually. Other than that, just same thing out in town. I got my first couple of tarantulas. Mental health at work was kind of starting to fall to pieces because I was giving so much of my time to this one person. I was doing something that I told myself that I would never do again, which was, after the previous relationship that I had, I didn't go into this relationship wanting to do the things that I did there, which was, give them 100% of my time and energy and, just sacrifice my well-being for them. But that's what I ended up starting to fall back into that through March and April. Come May, I made the decision to propose. That's where things really, really, really went downhill. We started fighting almost constantly. Her quote-unquote anxiety was, causing her to become increasingly toxic and controlling. I wasn't allowed to have friends. I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't even allowed to play video games. I couldn't be home alone without being on FaceTime with her. I couldn't go do things with my work friends. I literally only was allowed to focus on her, or else I would get absolutely screamed at. I ended up buying a car in May. I ended up buying the GTI, which you guys will see clips of. I'll sprinkle clips kind of like over top this, as to kind of keep your attention, because nobody wants to look at me for whatever 20, 30 minutes, however long this video is. I bought the GTI, absolutely loved the car, and like everything that I love, she hated. She said it was too fast, it wasn't safe, this and that, regardless of what I told her, what I showed her. It was too fast, and she didn't feel safe in it. June of 2025, I got married. We got married on the 16th of June, and that is when things seriously took a turn for the worst. What a lot of people don't know is that on July 7th is when things took a turn for the absolute worst, and that was the first time that she hit me. I'm going to fast forward because I don't want to sit and talk about this for long, because it's still very fresh in my head, and it's still something that weighs on me a lot, and it still controls a majority of my life right now. But starting in July is when the physical abuse started, on top of all the emotional and the manipulation. The way that she treated me is not the way that you should treat someone you love ever, and it was not fair to me. I did nothing but give her the best. I'm sorry. I'm sick, and I'm like regurgitating and like getting anxious talking about this. It's not something that you do to somebody you love. There's absolutely no reason you should be hitting or even talking to somebody the way that she talked to me. July hit me for the first time, happened again a couple weeks later, happened again a couple weeks later. Now, her defense is that I was doing things wrong. I mean, if you call like talking to friends and, wanting to go do things, or being tired after work, stuff like that being wrong, then I mean, go ahead. I mean, if you think somebody deserves to get hit for that, you're out of your fucking mind. But I'm not going to, I guess just be mad because it's your own opinion. But it was not fair to me in the slightest, because I really, truly was not doing anything wrong. I was being nothing but a good husband, giving her everything financially, emotionally, physically, whatever she wanted, she got. She got a dog because of me, a house because of me. She was able to move out of her parents' house. She was able to quit her job and start a shot for something that she had. And, just was given the best life possible. And I still don't understand, I guess, why I had to go through the things that I went through, because she wasn't happy with her life for whatever reason. It's just not fair to me. So yeah, August, we got our house together, which is the one that I'm in now, which is now my house, because she is no longer allowed here. She got kicked out. I have a protective order against her, and currently pending charges for some stuff that happened. I'll talk about that a little bit. Got the house. I got my cat, who is my ESA. She's literally my everything. She means the world to me. Her name's Wednesday. She's 6 months old now. She was baby when I got her. She was 4 months old. In August, we got our house together, and she got her dachshund. I got my cat. This is Wednesday. This is my kitty. She's 6 months old, and she's my ESA. She's been there for me. She comforts me when my anxiety gets bad, when PTSD stuff is happening, because that's unfortunately something that I have to deal with now. But she's just the sweetest thing ever. She's folding right now for some reason. Probably because I woke her up from a nap to come grab her for the video. Wednesday, what are you doing? Yeah, she's like full fold right now. She's not happy with me. Ow! Not the titty, please, not the titty. Chat. Okay, here. Walk on the desk, show everybody how pretty you is. She got her dachshund, which I do not have anymore because she, when I kicked her out of the house, she surrendered him back to the rescue, which is really unfortunate. But I have a surprise for y'all in a little bit once I get there. Thank you, Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, she's very sweet. September was relatively normal. Nothing crazy happened. September was relatively normal. Nothing crazy happened, other than what was already going on, the manipulation, the toxicity, the verbal abuse, the physical abuse. Come October, that's when shit really fell apart, if I'm going to be honest. The full force of the fact that I married, literal Satan, finally hit me. And that's when I started trying to get myself out of the situation that I was in. I made her go live back with her parents for 2-3 weeks. So damn near the entirety of October. She came back on Halloween. We went out to go see the Black Phone 2. And then that next day, she was gone again. Kicked her out again. This time, I planned on it being a little bit more permanent until she could get her shit together and figure it the fuck out, because I was sick and tired of it. October 27th, I guess it begins a couple days before Halloween. October 27th, she beat the living shit out of me on the highway while I was driving and shattered my windshield. October 31st, I let her come home. We went to go see the Black Phone 2, which is important. I'll tell you in a little bit. And yeah, at this point, I was done. I was genuinely done, and I wanted things to be over, but I was scared because of the things that were happening to me. I didn't want to continue to get hurt. The first week of November is when I officially kicked her out, starting November 5th, I believe. I had her come and move everything out. November 7th was the day that she took my dog and surrendered him. That was also the final day that they moved out. Basically, the day I went to go file charges and get the protective order against her, her and my mother-in-law, or my ex-mother-in-law now, decided that they were going to come to the house with the key that they lied about having to move the rest of their stuff out. And one of those things that they took was the dog. They did a lot of little petty shit that's really fucking childish and really embarrassing, like covering my shower floor in Vaseline so that I would slip and fall, breaking the fridge, taking the Wi-Fi router, even though it's house specific and they couldn't use it anywhere else, breaking half of my setup. So all this stuff, most of it, what you're seeing is brand new. Just stupid little shit, Fast forward, we have our first court date. And now I'm seeing a new girl. About a couple weeks after the events of that, I met Bethany, who I'm currently extremely happy with, and I hope to God it stays that way. Um, I'm surprised that I let myself open up so quickly after being in the situation that I was in. But Bethany kind of just like was there to pick up the pieces, and she's doing a phenomenal job, and she's become a really big, important of my part of my life. I got a new cat. Name's Widow. She's supposedly 2, but I think she's a lot older than her. I would grab her and bring her out, but she likes to hide because she's very antisocial. I started going to more car meets, just opening up, being myself, got back to playing video games, got back to going to car meets, got back to going, out with my friends, making friends, talking to people that weren't just her, doing the things that I enjoyed. My work life improved, drastically, almost the same exact day that she left. Things got better at work. And then recently I got a snake, and now I have Noodle, my dog. Noodle, come say hi to chat, Noodle. I'm gonna go grab him. This is Noodle. He's a wiener dog. He's a dachshund. A blondie dachshund. He's adorable. I love him. He's the sweetest dog I've ever had. He is 6 months old, and he does not leave my side unless he's sleeping on the bed. So he either sleeps on the bed, or he's sitting in my lap, or he's just following me around the house while I do literally anything. I've taken him everywhere. I got him yesterday, and he's already my best friend. He loves my girlfriend more than he loves me, which is upsetting, but it's fine because she's not here right now, so he's online. And my life has improved drastically in the 2 months that she's been gone, and I can't be happier. I could not be happier, if I'm being honest. So now that we got this 20 minutes of trauma dumping out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about my goals and plans for the future, my goals and plans for 2026, what I hope to happen, what I'm going to work on, stuff like that. Like literally my, what's it called? New Year's resolutions, those things that I never do. So for 2026, I want to, actually continue to push on content creation. I'm actually going to, be good about posting on YouTube. Instagram, I'll, tag my Instagram handle in the description. My Instagram I've been focusing on mostly because my car and cars is something that I have a passion for. I don't know if you've seen my shirt or any of my little car figures that I have all over my TV stand, or the fact that I drive a car that's modded to fucking hell. My car is now making 420 horsepower to the wheel. It's completely gutted. The thing's fast as fucking. Honestly, people call it clapped. I don't care. That thing will still smoke a fucking tune scat pack in a roll and a dig. So I don't care if it's clapped. But 2026 is going to be a glow up year for sure. Starting with getting rid of this hair. I want to save it until New Year's, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because of work. I kind of want this hair leaving to be like the door opening to a better future, right? I'm going to finish out my sleeve, which I'm excited for. Hopefully get more animals. Technically, I have 2 more animals on the way, Urza and Coco, who are Bethany's pets. That's her pit bull and then her cat, and they're both sweethearts, and they both love me. I'm going to continue to build out the Golf, hopefully wide body it in 2026, get a wrap on it, go wider on the wheelbase, get some thicker tires so that I can actually have traction when I'm, doing pulls. And I intend on buying a new car as well, a daily. I'm going to be moving to Connecticut in April. May of next year. So I'll be getting a house up there and moving up there for work. And hopefully Bethany will be coming with me. 2025 was shitty. Extremely shitty. Mental health wise, it was terrible. My anxiety, my depression. And it was all based off of a relationship that, in all honesty, was not a good idea from the start. And I should have seen that. And, people sit there and tell you not to say, hey, it's not your fault. It's partially my fault. I knew, deep down, I feel like I knew that it wasn't a good idea and that I needed to get out of that, situation, but I just couldn't bring myself to, because I was so desperate for happiness that I was turning a blind eye to the things that, were showing me this isn't true happiness. And now that I'm out of that situation, I can see like how bad it really was and how stupid I was being. So yeah, maybe it wasn't all my fault, but for the most part, it was my fault. But yeah, you things like this happen to you, and you take them and you grow from them, and you make your life better off of it. You don't let it control your life. You use it as a lesson to grow and become a better person and to become a better version of yourself. The version of yourself that it helps you create this version of yourself that you strive to be, that you can actually obtain. And turning 24 this year, I think that this relationship, as bad as it was, I desperately needed to help me wake up and see that I needed to get my priorities straight. And I already have been doing that. I've been doing a lot better in life. I'm happier. I'm managing everything better. I'm not really struggling with my anxiety and stress and depression as bad as I was. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for me, specifically 2026. I'm excited to see how, moving to a new state, hopefully starting to think about starting a family, more than just animals. Hopefully, start finding growth on YouTube and Instagram and maybe even Twitch. Maybe start getting into music more and actually putting some time and effort into it. Stuff like that. I'm just excited. Well, thank you guys for if you stayed and listened to my whole, 20-ish whatever minute rant about stuff and how shitty my life is. I know I'm just one person on the internet, but if you did stick around and listen to everything I had to say, I appreciate you a lot. It means a lot because I want to be better for y'all, and I want to be able to actually give y'all something that you guys can sit and watch and enjoy. And I would not have been able to do that without getting this stuff out of my chest. So at that, I can't really think of a good outro other than bye. Goodbye 2025, and here's to hopefully a better 2026. I'll catch y'all in the next one.